Hello everyone, this is Jekalyn from Miraculous Moments, the real Mrs. Edie, and you are the miracle. How's everybody doing this evening? I am finally able to sit down and start this video series, The Pit Has a Purpose, which is the title of our general session for the conference coming up in October, the Purpose, Power, and Praise Conference, which is hosted by Jekalyn Carr. The Pit Has a Purpose was the title given to me by God, and I just really feel like it's a personal thing because we all have been in situations where we felt like there was no way out. We felt like we just couldn't, no matter what we did, we couldn't get out of it, we couldn't climb out of it, we couldn't pay our way out of it, we just had to go through it. And in that thing, the pit has a purpose to me just means that God has taken us somewhere, or is trying to take us somewhere. But in order for us to get to where he wants us to be, we have to go through. And it kind of reminds me of the story of Joseph, which is my favorite story in the Bible in Genesis, where it talks about Joseph and his brothers and how they threw him in a pit. They were jealous of him. They tried to set him up to die pretty much. And as they were contemplating taking his life, a carriage, or travelers, if you will, the Midianites came along, and instead of killing Joseph, they sold him into slavery. Now that's just a brief summary of how the whole story kind of starts off, where it starts kicking off really. His brothers betrayed him, they disliked him, and they set him up to die. And you can be set up to die all day long, but if God has something else in mind for you, then what God has in mind for you supersedes anything else anyone else has planned. The Midianites didn't just show up by coincidence. They didn't show up by accident. God had a plan for Joseph, and in order for his plan to be fulfilled, he had to be sold into slavery so that he would not die. And he went through so much more, but on his way to that so much more, he trusted God the whole time. He prayed to God. He gave it to God. And he just knew that this was not what God wanted for him. He knew something else bigger had to be coming up after all that he had gone through. And so I just want to encourage you all to just remember that the pit has a purpose. If you're in a financial pit, if you're in a emotional pit, a stress pit, a job issue, whatever it is, God is not just doing it because he's doing something to make you better. There's another level that he needs you to get to, and in order to get there, you have to go through it. So the pit does have a purpose. Be encouraged. We will be back to speak more about Joseph's story and how that we can apply it to our lives, and just remember that God has something better for us. His purpose will be fulfilled, but we have to be willing to do his will. We have to trust him, and we just have to remember that he has our best interests at heart. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk again. The pit has a purpose.